Hey guys, Glenn here. This is going to be about mastering LaLoon, how to plan for LaLoon most efficiently and effectively as possible. So what you're going to see is an attack that I've done for this maxed out Town Hall 9 base. Do realize my heroes are very weak, which is why I do not like to use my heroes in a certain kill squad with golems, bowlers, and such, which do work still, even with low heroes. It's just there's a lot more risks to trying to use your heroes to do something inside a Town Hall 9 base, especially near the core. So what you're gonna see is basically all LaLoon. 3 hounds, 28 balloons, some cleanup troops and distraction troops for the CC, since I don't know what's in the CC and I do not use a poison for whatever's in the CC. So what are the steps that I take when I plan for LaLoon? Now I'm just going to be talking about LaLoon, so if you're here for hogs or anything else, you're out of luck. I'm just a LaLoon guy right now, for now. Okay, so what are you looking for in a LaLoon raid? You're looking for where the air defenses are. So in this case, we see that the air defenses are all spread apart, and this is a very symmetrical base, and mostly the Tesla giant bombs can be predicted, so there is no surprises in terms of the pathing of loons or how the air defense will be taken down, which makes this base pretty easy to take down and pretty easy to analyze and dissect. So usually what happens in a base is you're going to see air defenses and you're going to clearly see how your lava hounds and loons are going to path. So for instance, if I was to send the hound here, this is the closest, so it's going to go clockwise around the base. But if you have a base where the air defenses are evenly distributed, like a equilateral triangle, then the problem becomes, well, if I send the hound to one of these air defense, is it going to go to this one or is it going to this one? You don't know. Then you need to do a kill squad or something to cut that off, whether it be spells used, lightning, or a hasted loons, which I've never seen attackers use. I started using it because I thought it made perfect sense to use 4, 3, sometimes 5, 6, 7 loons to take out one air defense, maybe some traps around it like air bombs or skelly spells, skeleton what traps? Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, if you can take those out or get it out of the base, then that's great because you don't have to worry about that in the actual LaLoon phase. So that's one of the things that I'm looking for in a base. Is there a loons that can be hasted into an air defense that can easily be taken down? That's one of the first things I look for. And in this base, yes, there are 2, one here and one here. Both allow my loons about 5, 6. I believe I used 6 because I wanted to take out the wizard tower, but I don't think I take that wizard tower down. But 6 to for sure I get that air defense down. So what makes it easy now is I can send all my hounds here, and then my loons and hounds are going to path one direction. They're not going to be bothered by anything here. So that's sort of the reasoning for why I do this attack the way I do. The next thing you're looking at after you're looking at the air defenses, you're looking at the weakness of a base. So what are the things that are considered a weakness in a base? I would say anything to do with exposed air defense. Number 1, exposed air defenses. Anything that's far off the core and near reachable, you can try to get it with your king, queen. You can plan for giants and wizards, baby dragons and loons. Hogs, even if you see that 2, 3 hogs have a better shot at getting the air defense without the help of a hasted loon into the air defense, that's great too. So if you can take out one of the air defenses, exposed air defenses, that's considered a weakness of a base. Another weakness in a base for trying to do a LaLoon is exposed queen. So if the queen is far off the core, outside the walls, or barely inside the base, you can try to plan to get the queen without using poison and skellies on her with your little kill squad. It could be one golem and that's it, and wizards and queen. I've seen people use baby dragons or max dragons to take her out. What you usually want to do is, just so that the seeking air mines don't get your dragon, you're doing one or two balloons, sending them ahead, taking out maybe an archer tower or a defense, get the queen to commit to the loons, and the dragon to realize that the queen is there, and basically help the loons by taking her out. That's one way of doing it. Another way of doing it is using a skelly spell to get the queen to commit and come to the skelly spell, and then the dragons kill her. Another method is king queen action. Your own heroes to take out maybe one air defense and the queen. That's where you start investing more in the kill squad. But if you can get an exposed queen just with your king queen, that's great. That's a great exchange, and I would always do it so that you don't have to make skelly spells or other spells to try to kill the enemy queen. Because if you think about it, the archer queen is basically the 5th air defense. If anything, she's like even stronger than an air defense because she's mobile and she's just really strong. You can't ignore a queen's their strength. They're I think stronger than an air defense. I think maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but yeah, the queen is very strong, so you cannot ignore the queen. There's gotta be some element within the attack to be able to kill the queen, whether it be raised pups, skellies, poison to slow her down for a loon drop on her maybe, or a kill squad. So the third thing that I would consider a weakness of a base is overlapping air defenses and Inferno. So we are doing a Town Hall 9 base right now, and I will get to doing Town Hall 10 bases, a breakdown of how I dissect a Town Hall 10 base. But let's start from Town Hall 9. I think it's easier to grasp all the weaknesses of a Town Hall 9 before we can consider what is weak about a Town Hall 10 defense, because it's a lot stronger and hard to dissect a Town Hall 10 base. So overlapping air defenses and infernos, I say, but basically that means if you see air defense right next to an inferno, whether it be an inferno or a queen or two air defenses together, instead of lightning those or using a kill squad to take them out, you could consider within your attack to try to freeze them. Basically, you're not destroying the air defense, but one or two freeze is almost as good because it basically freezes the air defense, so there's no damage to your LaLoon, your Lava Hound, and it tanks for much longer. But it can also freeze up the wizard towers in this case here, and it can also freeze up the archer tower, maybe even the queen or even the sweeper. Sometimes what I like to do is I really think the entry point is perfect for coming in from this way, so I intentionally freeze the sweeper and the air defense. Now this doesn't apply too much to the Town Hall 9s, but more for Town Hall 10s when taking down other Town Hall 10s or not, Town Hall 9s maybe. But the freeze can become a very useful tool. But nowadays I see that because people are spamming so many loons, you can also use heal. For any part of a base where there's a lot of air defenses clustered together, or defenses, you can do a raise and a heal, so those loons can go past through all those defenses without having to die from the wizard tower splash damage as well as the air bombs. Another weakness of a base, number 4, grounded expos and grounded skelly traps. If you see grounded expos and skelly traps like here, not about the skelly traps because I don't know, but the expos are grounded. Just try to consider LaLoon from the start instead of trying to come up with all these different ideas. Just full LaLoon, because that expo is going to not do a thing to your troops. It cannot touch your troops. If you're doing all LaLoon, if you're using a kill squad, it's going to touch your kill squad. So, if it's all LaLoon, those expos are useless. This is almost as good as a Town Hall 8 base with an extra air defense and the queen. So, do consider that a huge weakness in a Town Hall 9 base if the expos are grounded. Poor sweeper placement, I would consider another weakness of a base. This one's not too bad, this base, but there are bases out there where the sweeper is just outside of the base, not facing the air defense or the wizard towers. I say the wizard towers benefit a lot from the sweeper because they get just enough 5-6 hits on the loons for them to go down, and that's how the sweepers help. Another weakness I would consider would be defenses out of air defense range. So basically, you have a bunch of these defenses too far off the map and not close to the air defense are going to be considered a weakness because they're going to be able to go down with your loons without having to drop a hound. You can delay the hound a little bit. Those defenses just cannot protect themselves from 2-3 loons on top of them. Wizard towers, archer towers, all of them, same deal. So I would consider that another weakness of a base. There's more other weaknesses, but for Town Hall 9, those are the main ones. Then you're looking at where the threat of the base is. In this case, everything's very clustered. Every part of the base is very a big threat to your LaLoon, I would say, just because there's wizard towers, archer towers, Teslas, air defenses, all one space apart. So basically you gotta raise and push your loons and lava hounds as fast as you can, or else you're just not gonna get the 3-star. So let's play this video and then we'll just dissect what's happening here. Wait, just before I do that, so I want you guys to look at this and just understand how the CC lure happens, the queen kill happens, and how I understand the defenses and how they go down in time so that my loons are never in threat or they're never going to be threatened. This is 6 balloons going right in. The air bomb does take down a lot of those loons, and the wizard tower doesn't go down, which is kind of upsetting, but 3 baby dragons are all lured out. There's no defenses here at 7 o'clock, so I'm easily able to lure. I get them right in position for my barbarian drop, so they're distracted, followed by a giant, and then a minion, and then a wizard, and then my queen does just enough damage to the baby dragons to kill them all, and the king does pretty much nothing for me but tank just for a second. 3 hounds pulled in. Notice I have already planned out that there needs to be about 6 loons here. Why is that? Because if I don't cut that, all my loons can go like this, starting from here. They can go like this. Instead of them going all together. The loons, the hounds, I know they're going to move like this. So that's why I send this here, that many, because I need to take out 3 defenses here that I see that relates to targeting my loons. So you're going to see that the haste is invested for them. I use the raise for the skellies and the queen kill, the pups, skellies. I'll take out the queen. Notice the queen is almost dying. So people have to understand that skeleton spells, whether it's 1 or 2, I believe I use 1 here. It's so important because don't think of the skeleton spell as the spell that's going to kill the queen. Think of it more as it's going to be the spell to distract the queen so that your loons and hound can move on without dying. But not only that, you have the pups, which are actually a lot stronger than skeletons, I believe, when raged. Because they're like minions, right? And minions are a lot stronger than skeletons, I think. Okay, this is just me assuming. But the pups here are going to be the ones that really damage the queen and take her out. Notice how, just like I just mentioned, I have the loons pathing in here to take out this region. So my loons are going to path one direction with my hound. That's important. You cannot separate the hound to the loon, or else the attack does not work. So those loons on the left will die off. That heal could have been placed closer to the air defense. I will admit that wasn't a very good heal spell placement. I have all the loons coming in to the last few defenses, and what's great about this is all 3 hounds that I use do get popped, and I don't have a hound flying around doing nothing. So I'm going to get all the defenses, I'm going to clean up the base, and the queen also helps out because there was no defenses where I dropped the queen, so she's also going to help out in the cleanup. And this is just going to be me cleaning up the base for the 3-star base. I have not gotten a scout for, so if you can get a town hall 9 with level 8 king and level 10 queen to 3-star a max town hall 9, that's going to help the clan, I think. So if you guys can try this out yourselves, try it out, understand LaLoon pathing, understand how you can dissect a base to exploit the weakness of the base. And yeah, so I thank you for watching this, and I'll see you guys in the game. I hope you guys make me proud. Bye.